Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Let's go start now. Next question. Jake Paul refuses to entertain Carl Froch fight after making $10 million demand to British legend 47. Jake Paul has refused to even entertain the idea of fighting Carl Froch. British legend Froch retired in 2014 after knocking out George Groves in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley. He had since embarked on an outspoken career in punditry, with YouTuber-turned-boxer Paul frequently on the end of Froch's wrath. So it is no wonder the 11-1 American is not interested in a fight. Paul told media with a simile at the Katie Taylor vs. Amanda Serrano press conference. Next question. Froch held the super middleweight world title twice and only lost to American great Andrew Ward and Mikkel Kessler, winning the rematch, and he has snubbed offers for a comeback fight in the past after hanging up his gloves. But Froch, 47, has maintained in the past he will return to fight Paul, 28, even offering to donate his purse to charity. Paul's promotional partner, Nikisa Bedarian, did respond in January, challenging Froch to put $10 million, £7.7 million, on the table for the fight. Bedarian told Sunsport, "Sure, Carl, show up with an offer that makes sense. Since he's fighting for charity anyways, he's made it clear that he's going to donate 100% of his earnings to charity. Show up with an offer that makes sense for MVP, most valuable promotions, and Jake Paul, who drive the biggest numbers in the entire sport, and we'll have happy to have a conversation. We're certainly not looking to come to the UK to offer a 47-year-old Carl Froch, who's never sold a pay-per-view in his life in the US, which is the most important market, and make him an offer. And he's fighting for charity anyways, he's fighting for free. So if and when they're ready to show us an offer that shows that he's 100% donating all proceeds that he gets paid, and any entities associated with him to charity, and that it is an 8-figure opportunity for Jake Paul, which is what Jake Paul makes in every single fight. Happy to have the conversation." Absolutely. Froch was critical of Paul's last fight, which he won over 8 rounds against Mike Tyson after returning to the ring aged 58. Paul's only loss came against Tommy Fury, 25, in Saudi Arabia via split decision. He is set to announce his next fight after talks with Canelo Alvarez, 34, and Gervonta Davis, 30, collapsed. Next in. Jake Paul shuts down Carl Froch fight with $10 million price tag. In a sport where hype meets haymakers, Jake Paul continues to play chess in a ring full of checkers. The YouTube sensation turned legend boxing contender recently made headlines again, not for announcing a new fight, but for shutting one down with flair, sarcasm, and a not-so-subtle jab at a British boxing legend. The target this time? None other than Carl Froch, the former super middleweight world champion. Known as much for his iron chin and no-nonsense style as he is for reminding the world, often, that he sold out Wembley Stadium. But when Froch came sniffing around for a showdown, Jake had just 2 words to say. Next question. The call-out that fell flat. Carl Froch, now 47, hasn't fought professionally since his iconic knockout win over George Groves at Wembley in 2014. But retirement hasn't stopped him from throwing punches. Verbally, at least. Over the past couple of years, Froch has taken frequent swings at Jake Paul through social media, interviews, and his own YouTube commentary. From mocking Jake's YouTube antics to calling his fights a circus act, Froch made it clear he had little respect for Paul's boxing journey. But recently, the tide turned. Maybe it was Jake's win over Anderson Silva. Maybe it was the upcoming Mike Tyson mega event. Maybe Froch just missed the spotlight. Whatever the case, Froch changed his tune and said he'd be open to fighting Jake Paul if the money was right. That's when Jake decided to have some fun. Jake Paul's $10 million demand, real or ridicule? At a post-event press conference, following the Tyson fight announcement, a journalist asked Jake about Carl Froch. Without blinking, Jake smirked and said, "Yeah, sure. If he wires me $10 million today, I'll think about it." The room laughed. Jake didn't flinch. Otherwise, next question. Whether it was a genuine demand or just a well-timed troll, the message was loud and clear. Carl Froch is yesterday's news, and Jake Paul doesn't fight for nostalgia. He fights for headlines, hype, and most importantly, numbers. A clash of eras and egos. If the fight ever were to happen, it would be a curious collision of generations. Froch, the no-frills warrior of the early 2010s, built his legacy on grit, world titles, and 12-round wars. Jake Paul, on the other hand, represents the new wave of boxing. Fast-paced promotion, viral callouts, and an undeniable knack for building spectacle. But Jake's dismissal of Froch isn't just about generational disconnect. It's strategic. He knows how to pick opponents who offer value, whether in name recognition, pay-per-view pull, or stylistic intrigue. Froch, though respected, doesn't tick any of those boxes for Jake's current trajectory. Froch's response: predictably fiery. It didn't take long for Froch to respond to Jake's quip. On his YouTube channel, Froch fired back: "Jake Paul is ducking me. Simple as that. He knows I'd walk right through him. He's a wannabe in a sport where men fight men. I've fought legends. He fights clowns." He then challenged Jake to stop hiding behind numbers and step into the ring with a real fighter. Jake, true to form, liked a meme mocking Froch's famous Wembley brag and moved on. Why Jake said, "Next question." Jake's rise hasn't just been about knockouts. It's been about narrative. He controls the pace of his story like a veteran producer, and every opponent is part of a larger arc. Carl Froch, for all his accolades, doesn't fit the current script. Jake is targeting younger fighters, crossover stars, and high-impact matchups. He's talking Gervonta Davis. He's chasing Conor McGregor. He's flirting with Anthony Joshua in 2026. Froch, by contrast, is a detour. Interesting to pundits. Maybe, but irrelevant to Jake's audience. In his own words, the price of pride. Would Froch ever pay $10 million? Jake's $10 million comment was clearly tongue-in-cheek, but it reflects a deeper truth. In his world, money is the metric. If you want a piece of his spotlight, you better bring cash or clout. Froch, long retired and without a viral fan base, lacks both. But even if Froch were to meet the demand, or get a wealthy backer, the idea of 47-year-old ex-champ paying to fight a 27-year-old influencer would flip boxing tradition on its head. And maybe that's Jake's point. He doesn't need Froch. Froch needs him. What's next for Jake? As Froch feuds and fight fans debate the legitimacy of Jake's place in the sport, the influencer boxer is busy lining up blockbuster events. The Tyson fight is set to break streaming records. There's talk of MMA crossover bouts. Rumors of a cruiserweight title run still linger. Jake Paul's playbook is simple but effective. Fight the unexpected, build the hype, and stay in control. Carl Froch? He's just another voice in the echo chamber. As Jake walked off stage after brushing off the Froch question, he left behind a final grin and a mic drop moment.